Why is it called Mount of Olives, my friends?
Olive trees.
Sometimes the answer is very simple, very good. Because of the olive trees. You can see the olive trees all around down the mountain. These olive trees behind us are believed to be the oldest trees that we can find in Israel in general. Some are more than hundreds and thousands years old. Very, very big trees. What do we know from the story, from the tradition about Mount of Olives? And again, guys, just tell me what you know, what comes up to mind, and please say your names as well, because I want to get to know you. I know some of the names, but still not everyone.
They use the olive oil to anoint.
Fantastic. Olive oil for anointment and for usage of food and
Light.
light. Fantastic. That is the usage of olive oil since the beginning of the first cities of Jerusalem. Fantastic. What else do we know about the stories that took place here in the times of Christ, in the times of Jesus? Okay. Guys, Mount of Olives, and again, it's this mountain right here. We're on the same part, the same mountain range, okay? It's two peaks from the same range. Can you focus like that? Everyone hear me okay? Guys, Mount of Olives have a really, really important place in the times of Christ. In the last week of his life, he spends it over there. And there's a few very, very important events that take place over there. How many times is Jesus visiting Jerusalem in his life? 3 times. As a baby, and as a young adult. When he goes to Temple Mount, we're going to talk about that in a minute, and in this last week of his life. There's a few churches celebrating the different events that took place in Mount of Olives. And for me, one of the most special things about this land that we have here is that we can hold a text that is 2,000 years old, and I can point and say, this is where it happens. Archaeology and the text are meeting together. And you can't say that about anywhere else in the world. Anywhere. For me, that is moving and exciting and meaningful. The Mount of Olives, one of the places we wanted to go to is a place called Domus Flávit in Latin, the tear of the Master of Jesus. In that point, Jesus going and standing on Mount of Olives, and he looks over at Jerusalem, and he's crying over Jerusalem. Why is he crying? Do you want to read it from the text maybe, Pastor? I have it here. Read it after, fantastic. He's crying because he's foreseeing the destruction of Jerusalem, for people not getting along with one another, for people making sins. And he foresees what's going to happen, and he's sad about it. Another really, really important place in Mount of Olives is a place called Gethsemane. I just want to say something about the word Gethsemane. Gethsemane is a word that we say in English, but actually in Hebrew it means something. Gat Shemanim in Hebrew is an olive press. It's where we make the olive oil. So Gat Shemanim actually is a place where they used to produce the olive oil, like Taz said. And over there we have something huge that happens. Jesus is coming with some of his disciples, apostles, and he's asking for them, stay awake with me while I pray. He says it to Peter and Andre, please stay awake with me. And he goes and he prays. And he's very, very upset, and he's very, very sad. And why is he so upset? They fell asleep. But he's also upset because he foresees something again. He knows at that point that he's going to be crucified. And in that point, my lovely friends, we have something huge for me that happens in the text. He foresees the future, something that only a God can do. But he's also crying. That is very, very human. So we can connect to that. If I can ask you guys to think about a point in your life when you were very, very frightened, very scared or intimidated by something. a moment in your life that you knew that is going to be a big challenge or something that you don't know if you're going to overcome. So we have the God character and the human character going hand in hand in that moment. That happens in the very, very bottom of Gethsemane. And also, like you said, Don, when he comes back after the first time he prays, Peter and Andre are asleep. Their eyes are too heavy. And then he tells them again, friends, I'm going to pray one more time. Can you stay awake with me? Because guys, when we have hard times in our lives or something is scary for us or intimidating, we want our close ones to support us, right? We want our friends and family to say, we're here with you, it's okay. And they disappointed him. He asked them once again, stay awake with me. And he goes and he prays and he cries again. He is 100% human and a God at the same time. He's very, very scared. And he comes back and he sees his friends, his followers, asleep again. Guys, to be in that moment when you know what is going to happen to you, what is the sacrifice that you will have to make, and be alone in that, that is a very, very, very hard feeling. That hard moment takes place in the bottom of the mountain, in a place called Gethsemane. He goes to pray again, asks them to stay awake, they fall asleep again. And when he's done praying, he knows that Judas is gonna turn him in. And Judas coming with the Roman soldiers. And how do they know which one to take? A kiss on the cheek. He kissed Jesus, and from there, you guys, they go up to Mount of Zion. If you remember, we passed it in the bus. We're gonna go there, and it's being taken to the house of the high priest, of Caiaphas' house. We're gonna be there later on today. So all these events of the last week, we can see it right in front of us, and we'll go to a deeper resolution later in. A few more things about Temple Mount and these two words that I said to you guys before. Are you still comfortable? In focus? We're good? Guys, Temple Mount is something that I really, really want you to understand. Temple Mount is the platform where the temple used to be, the Jewish temple in the times of the Romans. The Jews had two temples. The first one was built by King Solomon, the son of King David. King David was supposed to build it, but he was a sinner. He was a warrior, he had blood in his hands. So King Solomon, his son, built it instead of him. Destroyed by the Babylonians, no more temple until 1,000 years later, when a Roman king named King Herod is coming here and building the temple, the second temple for the Jews. Now, I want you to see, you see where the Golden Dome is, my friends? I promise to you that where the Golden Dome is, there is a mountain. I know you cannot see a mountain right now because the Golden Dome is actually now built on a platform. So if Don, can I have you as a volunteer? Down here is the mountain called Mount Moriah. We're gonna focus on that later on. First temple is being built here. The second temple that King Herod wants to build, he says it's not comfortable to build on a mountain, so he shaves the top of it and build a platform. So let's imagine an upside down shoebox we'll put on Don's head, and on that he builds the temple. So thank you, my love. Temple Mount is that upside down shoebox. It's a platform, that's what it is. Today the Golden Dome that belongs to the Muslims, again I'm going to talk about it later on, that's built on that shoebox, okay? There's nothing left of the Jewish temple, of the temple from the times of Jesus, nothing left. Only one of the supporting walls that we're going to see today.